Hey YouTube! This video is going to be a bit different. I basically want to tell you about 3 things that have been on my mind lately. Things that I see other songwriters doing that I used to do that I've really come to hate. And if you're only a subscriber for Songwriting Technique, you can turn this video off, no harm done. But it is something that's really been bothering me for a while, and what better way to get it off my chest than through a YouTube video. First is giving negative feedback. When I got into conservatory, I was lucky enough to be one of the better students because I'd already studied music for 2 years at that point. And that meant that some of my classmates kind of looked up to me and came to me for advice. And while I would like to believe that I was kind to everyone who did and tried to help them as much as I could, there were definitely some moments where I abused this power. And so one day, one of the new first years, I was probably in 2nd or 3rd year at that point, asked me what I thought of their song. And I listened to it and told him I didn't think it was very good, and explained to him exactly what I didn't like. Honesty is always something I cherished, and back then, I figured it'd be better he knew where he was at. Now, I didn't call him names or say that he could never be a great writer, but I was very adamant about the fact that his song wasn't very well written, and every explanation he had for his decisions in the track, I had a smart counter-argument for. Today, I really wish I wouldn't have done that. It only dawned on me how wrong it is to be too blunt with artists when I had someone else do it to me. I used to say to myself, I'm just being honest. That person will be better off if they know exactly what they did wrong. If they can't take it, well, they should. I now believe that that is the worst thing you could be doing to someone who just started out. Even professionals have a hard time coping with all negative feedback. If someone comes to you for advice, and worse, if they're looking up to you, for God's sake, be kind to them. If you go too far, you will demotivate them for life and they will never write a song again. They will think they're not good enough, and you've essentially ruined someone's passion for them. And I listen to my old songs. They're horrible. I mean, really, really bad. I was just lucky enough that in the first few years, I never got bad feedback, which is why I stuck with songwriting and was able to turn it into a career. Now, of course, I'm also not saying you should be lying to people, but be empathetic. Start with some positive comments and emphasize that what you're saying is your opinion and that you're trying to help them. Let them know that this is not an attack on their person or skills as a songwriter. Show them some flaws of your own. I often use phrases like, "Oh man, yeah, I know that's so difficult," or "I used to have the exact same problem." Then try to help. Show them how you would do it. If they like your version, great. You help them improve their song. If they don't, great too. You showed them that the two of you have different taste and that maybe your opinion shouldn't weigh as heavily. But please, in those moments when someone shows you something they've put a lot of work and love into, be kind, meet them at eye level, and help them as much as you can. The second thing I stopped doing is holding grudges. If you've been in this industry at all, you will know the situation. You met some guy who has connections in the industry, someone wrote you an email that they liked your music and that they want to push it on whatever platform they have. And it sounds like this is your big opportunity. This is going to be the thing that turns your hobby into a career. And then nothing happens. This has happened to me more than a dozen times. At one point, I was supposed to write the music for a movie produced by Leonardo DiCaprio. I had a song lined up for Leona Lewis. I was supposed to start a music school with one of Europe's biggest composers. I was going to get my own TV show. I almost interviewed Brian Eno. Several artists wanted to work with me and I never heard from them again, etc., etc. Now maybe I'm just a shit person, but from talking to friends and colleagues in this industry, unfortunately, this seems to be the norm. And it used to be a real pain to deal with these situations. Should I follow up with that person? How many times? Are they angry at me? Did I do anything wrong? Why did they lead me on? Why are they being such a dick? It's really easy to hold a grudge. If only this one thing would have worked, I would be writing with Lady Gaga right now. This whole industry is corrupt, everybody hates me, and it's never good music that reaches the charts, i.e. my music. Well, that's how it is. You could say everyone's full of shit. I just think people are just people. Maybe that person that got your hopes up is just extremely busy and they don't have the time to listen to your stuff or answer your emails. The hours in this industry really are insane. Or maybe they're having personal problems right now that you're not seeing. Or maybe they just don't like your hair, and that's fine too. So today, I don't hold grudges. There's not a single person alive right now that I'm truly angry with. They have their lives and their problems, so why would I make things worse for them? In hindsight, For me, holding a grudge was often a sign of me shifting the blame if my career wasn't going as I'd hoped. I jumped at every opportunity of people who could help me, when I should have stuck to my plan to keep improving myself and working on my career instead of relying too much on others. It really doesn't make sense to hold grudges if you think about it. It'll only make you unhappy and stressed out, and it's not going to change anything for the better. If an opportunity arises, by all means work for it, but don't let it distract you from your personal goals. Third, and this one's even more significant, clear up issues you had with others in the past. I'm a big believer in self-analysis and critically looking at one's actions. Now, it might surprise you, but even though I am German, I'm a human being and I do make a lot of mistakes. But I often don't realize it until way after. Sometimes it takes me years to figure out that I was being a dick all along. Ex-girlfriends and bands I played in come to mind. But it's also true that even if years have passed without a single word, I will call or write an email to apologize, or at least to let that person know that we're cool. I don't want that person to think that there's someone out there that hates their guts. I want to let them know that it's okay. We both made mistakes, or maybe I just fucked it up all by myself. But that it's okay. I'm not angry at them anymore. I understand why they did what they did. In fact, there's only one person that I know of that I've wronged in the past that I've never apologized to. And he was kind of the reason why this has been on my mind so much, since he recently subscribed to my Instagram account without a word. So the day this video releases, I will write him a long email and tell him that I see things clearer now, that I was in the wrong, but was too fixated on myself to see it. So what happened was, 11 years ago, he threw me out of a band we had together, and he was right to do it. And I haven't seen him or talked to him since. So I'll write him an email and tell him that I don't blame him for what happened. I want him to know that he's one of the best people I've ever met, and that I don't hate him, and that I'm stupid for being so stubborn not to write sooner. Now, I don't think we're going to be best friends again after that, and I definitely won't move back in with my ex-girlfriends. But I like the idea of coming clean, that if they were in a car accident tomorrow, I wouldn't be on their mind as someone who hates them, but someone who cherishes them for who they are. I realize all of this sounds really preachy, but it's just something I wanted to get off my chest, maybe to right some wrongs, or maybe there's a person in your life that you critique too harshly, that you hold a grudge against, and that you never came clean with. Now, I don't believe in fate, and even though I like the idea, I don't believe in karma either. But I do believe that every once in a while, I could use this exposure I've gotten through YouTube to share something more than just how to use a dominant chord more effectively. And that is important too. A wisely placed dominant chord can change lives too. So if you don't want to do any of the things I suggested in this video, maybe just write some songs. Those help.